Today I'm going to do a journal tutorial using found objects, watercolor, and pen and ink. Just a quick note, layering is the heart of this journal page, and you want to let your found objects dictate the markings that you make in one of the steps. And also, for more information on how to do these steps, you can follow the link right here. For this page, I'm using some found objects that I got while I was in Italy and a found object in my coffee machine recently. So I've got some leaves, some butterfly wings, a piece of a ticket, a piece of a brochure, and some scrap paper. And I'm laying it out to see how everything fits before I glue it down. I may change my mind a little bit as I glue, but this is kind of basically the way I want it to go. And yes, they come off the side of the page, but that's okay because I'm going to glue it down and then do something with those extended areas. So I'm going to use methyl cellulose, which is a plant-based glue, and I'm gluing my basic shapes down, coffee filter, and a little piece of paper that kind of makes my brochure piece a little bit rough around the edge on the right side. And now I'm gluing some dried leaves on top of the ticket stub that I have at the bottom. This is the base layer. It's kind of dark, so I'm thinking about adding a little touch of peach, torn piece of paper from, one of the brochures or something that I had gotten in Italy, and I'm kind of playing around with it. As you can see, I've taken those extended areas and flipped them over and glued them onto the back. So, since I have a large area of my journal covered in that brown coffee filter, it's kind of washy, and I think they're good for the first wash because there's some light areas, there's some medium areas, and there's darker areas where the coffee was concentrated. And that's kind of what I want to happen with the first wash. Even though it's not a wash, uh, it looks like a wash. My next layer is going to be an ink wash, and I forgot to videotape that particular wash. So I'm going to show you the kind of ink, watercolor ink that I'm using and the areas that I added to this next layer. I'm going to use a blue ink to match or reflect the blue panel on the left side of my page. So that's the blue that I'm going to use, and it's Dr. Martin's concentrated watercolor, which is something I sometimes use in my journals. So I put a drop or two on my paper, added some water to it, and then took my water spray bottle and sprayed it in different areas. And then I also moved my peachy strip around and added a couple more. So at this point, I'm going to add a pen and ink markers layer. And I'm using white because this page is fairly dark with the blues and the browns and the greens that happen to come about on top of the coffee filter paper. So I'm stippling, which is doing little dots. I am hatching and cross hatching, which are short little lines. And you can practice those pen and ink techniques with my previous pen and ink technique video. I'm also doing concentric lines, which basically are following the outline of a particular shape. And I'm doing that around the fern leaves, doing it a little bit around the butterfly, adding some more hatching along some edges. Again, there's a little bit of a concentric line there, doing around the stem there of the brown leaf with a few stippling dots. I'm going into that orange that's in behind that leaf and adding some dots and some. The last thing I'm going to do here is add some accent. And I like to use dots for that. So I'm going to take my metal dot tool, using the largest dot that I can do with these tools. And I've made some orange that matches that little bit of orange that is already showing as an accent at the bottom and behind the brown leaf. And so I'm just right now just putting some dots. They're all pretty much the same size. Put some first on the butterfly. And just a note about that butterfly. I found those butterfly wings and put them between two pieces of clear tape. And then I cut out around the wings and glued them down. They are shiny because of the tape, which, adds a slightly different texture. So speeding things up here with my orange dots, I have a lot of the dots concentrated on the diagonal from the upper right side down through the ferns and all the way down to the bottom left, which help create some movement from the bottom all the way up to the top of the page where the butterfly is flying off. And I will then, when it's all dry, finish it with a final cold wax sealant.